Happy New Year, world. Welcome to Sunday, 1st of January 2023, and the dog's disappeared. Okay, so this video is starting a bit late in the day, and for all of you lot, about a week, 10 days later than the day. So by the time this goes out, it'll probably be around about 10th of January. So although it's New Year's Day for me, and it's happening now, I hope you had a good one, and I hope you're looking forward to a good year. So right, I've just got back from Oxford from visiting Mrs. P in hospital. Good news, she's chirpy and fairly happy, and I think everything's going-ish to plan. Right, you guys are all right for a couple of hours. So I checked them before I went this morning. So if you follow my Instagram, you will have seen the morning message for, you know, Happy New Year and all that. So they're okay for a couple of hours. I've been invited to lunch with my dad by my brother, so I'm going over to Titherington to have lunch. Yeah, you could do with a bit of a freshen up of the bed in there as well. So yeah, so out all morning to visit Mrs. P, which had to be done once I checked they're okay. Out to lunch now with my dad, and then back to work. Biscuit, we're going again now. Biscuit. She's probably either ratting or looking for a... Were you looking for calf poo or a rat? Eh? Which were you looking for? Right, come on. Let's go. Right, we're on our way, obviously. Samantha came with me this morning to see Julie. In some ways I kind of wish I'd taken you with us, because I know how much some of you enjoy the debates that I have with my daughters, and today was no exception. So pretty much assured that when I spend some time with Samantha in an enclosed space, it's going to end up with some kind of debate, and it'll be usually the difference between the point of view from somebody from my generation with the point of view of somebody of her generation. Now, bearing in mind, she's in her late 20s, I'm in my late 50s, and we are, you know, I'm a 60s baby, she's well, basically a 90s millennial. So it's, there are some fairly big differences between her and me, as in influences that we grew up with. So like, for instance, when I grew up, there was no mobile phones, there was no internet, there was no the ease of getting hold of news was kind of, well, there wasn't any. If we wanted to know what was going on in the world, we watched 9 o'clock news on the telly, or we bought the newspaper, which was yesterday's news. That was it. That's all we knew and what we grew up with. And you know what? In some ways, I think we were better off. I actually said to Samantha that I personally believe that my generation, people of my age, so far have had the best of it. I entered this earthly plane at kind of the end of the Industrial Revolution, and we were getting on into the technological revolution. So lots of improvements over the lives that my parents and grandparents had, lots of freedoms that they didn't have. It was like, so the late 20th century, I think, in history will go down as probably some of the best years we've had. Because I think now, although so many things are easier, I think, especially for our young folks, it's harder. They've got pressures on them now and influences on them now, streaming through their whatever device they've got, their phones, their iPads, their computer screens, whatever else, all these outside influences confusing them. All right, and that was part of the debate I had with my daughter, which probably best I didn't share, was the confusion over that some folk have over who they think they are or what they think they are. And to me, it's black and white. I'll look at a person and I can say, you are blah, blah, blah. That's because I can see it. I don't need you to tell me what you are because I can see it. But you might turn around and say to me, well, no, I don't identify as that. I identify as a blah, blah, blah. And I go, well, you don't look anything like what you identify as. You don't sound like it. You probably don't smell like it. But you know, it's there seems to be so much confusion, and you know what? It was because Samantha's grown up in a society where that kind of thing is much more open and natural. I mean, in my years, if folks were confused about things, they kept it to themselves. We never knew anything about it. I might have grown up with half a dozen lads or girls at school who didn't think that's what they were. But I don't know. But she did. So there's like a bit of a clash of culture between me and her, and what I think and what she thinks and what we believe. And so we kind of thrashed it out over. I mean, the core stuff we agree on. At the end of the day, she is my daughter, and I did help bring her up. So her core thinking is the same as mine, but she's much more what's the word I'm looking for? Not forgiving, but much more understanding, shall we say, over some of this non-binary identification as something that you weren't born as, and all that sort of stuff. And it was actually quite an interesting conversation. I listened to what she said, and some of the things she said made some sense to me. Some of them didn't make any sense at all. I just don't get some of it. But I know there are a lot of folks out there who are not happy in their own skin. They're not satisfied with what they were given. And I suppose what I'm trying to say is, I mean, I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm really happy in my skin. I've got no real complaints. I identify as what I believe I am. And most of you see me as what I think I identify as. So I'm not trying to pick a fight here. I mean, if anybody thinks I'm trying to poke a bear or you know, wind up something, that's not the thing. It's a case of I don't get a lot of this modern society stuff, but I do think that a lot of it is influenced by what folks see on the telly, on their tablet, on their phone. I mean, you're listening to me now. You don't have to be here listening to me. You could be off listening to somebody else who's actually doing something with a farm, driving a tractor or polishing a tractor or playing with cows or something. But you're not. You're there listening to me talking about this drivel, which, in my opinion, is what a lot of it is. All this extreme views, which was another thing we came up. I mean, bearing in mind, Oxford for me is an hour and a half journey there, and it's an hour and a half journey back. So we had 3 hours of debate on self-identification, on extremism, not in just religious, but as in all sorts of things, politics, and yeah, it was one of those videos where I spent a lot of the time just poking the bear, because well, when the bear is there asking to be poked, you got to give it an occasional nudge, haven't you? But then there was some of the arguments she was coming out going, yeah, okay, well, I can see that, I can understand that. But I still think, and I'll maintain, that my early generation, pre-internet, pre all this information, super highway of everybody knowing everything about everything, I actually think we were happier. Okay, there was no pressure to be something you didn't want to be. You didn't have to be, apart from maybe your parents or something. There was no outside influences of people telling you what you should or shouldn't be. So, right, who's that? That's me, brother. Hang on a second. Yes, Michael.
Are you on your way?
I am. I'm just about to turn down Stidcut Lane.
Perfect. At lunch. All
right. Cheers. See you, mate. Bye-bye. Bye. So yeah, I lost place of where I was now, but yeah, it's always interesting when I spend time with Samantha. Always interesting. So, like I say, it's one of those things where half of me wishes I'd recorded it, although that would be 3 hours of just backwards and forwards and the occasional giggle and laugh. But there'll probably be a few sections in that if I did record it, or I'd probably drop myself in the poo-poo in a big way, you know, tidal wave of excrement because I say the wrong thing. So, right, okie dokie. Oh, this looks promising. I think maybe we've got a flood down here. We got a flood down here? Why are you backing up? We've got a flood down here. Right. Follow me, musses. You'll be alright. Follow me. Let's get on the other side of the road. We'll wait for him to come through first because I want to be on the other side of the road. You're welcome. My turn. It's not actually that bad. It's probably only about 4 or 5 inches deep. There's not even really enough to get a proper bow wave up here, but I just know not to get onto the too far left side of the road. I can see the white line down the middle. So as long as I don't go mad at it and throw water up into my air intake, we will be fine. So, there you go, see? Nothing to worry about. Right then, that's it. So I only recorded that because if I'm late, it's 2 o'clock. If I get back a bit late, it might be dark by the time I get to sort the cattle out. And if it's dark, that camera is rubbish in the dark. GoPros are not well known for their nighttime quality. So yeah, at least I'll have something that I can do for New Year's Day. Stick my finger in a hornet's nest, wind up a few folks, probably upset a couple. Sorry if I've upset anybody, didn't do it on purpose, but I'm just being honest. I know a lot of this stuff I really do not get. I don't get. So, and to be honest, it's one of those things where if anybody out there is confused over who or what they are, okay, well, you know, you can be confused about it, but it's like being a vegan. I don't really need to know. You don't have to tell me. I don't need you to go. I'm not going to go down into Bristol waving a placard and shouting, "Hey, everybody, look at me! I'm a heterosexual and I like women." No, because you don't care. You don't need to know. So, and I don't need to know if you think differently. To be honest, I don't really care. It's whatever makes you happy, and if you can find someone else who's like-minded and you make each other happy, then I'm happy for you. But it's like a lot of these things. Why do I need to know? Why do you think I need to care? I don't know. I'm just old. Well, I've come home. I didn't get the camera out because it was put away, but thrashing rain, hail, sleet, everything except snow we've had on the way here. It's actually stopped for a minute. So I got no evidence other than the fact that it is really, really wet out there. Right, I can't say as I'm dead keen to get back out in it, but it's one of those things, once this job's done, well, I ain't got to do it again. It's done. Once more into the breach. It's not raining. How are we looking in here? So this was on 5mm, 6mm a couple of days ago, on 20mm. So there you are. That's what we've had in the last 2 days, about 20mm. So 1st of January, at 3:20 p.m. it was empty. That one's doing his job. That one's doing his job. And third, but not last, that one's also doing his job. So the yard is wet. Everything is very, very wet, but it's nowhere near as wet as it would have been this time last year if I hadn't put those drains in. So yeah, still got a couple more to go yet. Right, if you're all here, I'm going to shut you in and sort you out a bale. Everybody happy in there? Yeah? No, not really. Okay. Oh yeah. That one's doing his job too. So, good job, Ian. Come on, you lot. Is Grumpy out here? Can't see Grumpy. Come on. In you go. You could probably be all right for a couple of hours yet, but do you know what? I'm going to give you a bale now, and then it's done. Come on. In you go. Get in. Good. Where's the spike? Oh, he's over there. I'll keep on going for 24 hours. Right. Okay. The other side, I think they've got enough for today. These are big bales, mate, so these are the big 5 foot 6 foot bales. Oh, they do last longer. Yeah, you got enough in there to last you for the rest of the day easy. Okay, anything going on here? You're expecting another calf sometime or other, but I'm not sure when. Now you've had that board then, have you? Vandals. That's it. That's my New Year's Day duties kind of done. Both beds are on the damp side, but I could refresh them now at 3 o'clock, and by 7 o'clock they'll be wet again. So I might come back down later on and have a look at that And maybe I will and maybe I won't, we'll see. If I don't do it today, it'll have to be done tomorrow. But like I say, the beds are damp, but they're not dirty. And I think in this weather, everything's damp. So, okay, no, all right, my bed's not damp. But yeah, everything out here is definitely damp.